He was the most influential Argentine composer of the 20th century. I'm the Classical Nerd, and today we're talking about Alberto Ginastera. Ginastera was born in 1916 in Buenos Aires. He studied music at the Williams Conservatory in Buenos Aires, and upon graduation became a professor in his own right, and became an active part of Argentine musical life. One of his students was Astor Piazzolla, the famed tango master. If there was an academy or institution in Argentina that was in any way related to music, chances were pretty high that Ginastera was on the roll. The 1930s and 40s were times of great upheaval in Argentina, and Ginastera saw his use of folk tunes, quite rightly, as a way to get back at repressive regimes who would rather have national music have a more conservative slant. He would continue to love his homeland, but he often butted heads with the powers that were. In fact, his second opera was banned for several years in the late 60s and early 70s. The situation got so bad that he actually left for Switzerland after he was ousted from 2 teaching positions, and for the rest of his life spent his time peripatetically between Switzerland and the United States. Ginastera's music is very 20th century in its handling of meter and dissonance, but as mentioned, he loves using folk music in some fashion or another. Late in life, he had his own personal view of his collected works that involved separating them into 3 distinct stylistic categories, beginning with a much more nationalistic focus on folk tunes and gradually working its way towards a higher level of abstraction. His last period is what he saw as a return to expressionism, and it saw, amongst other things, an embrace of serialism in a strange way. At one point, he used a tone row derived from Beethoven's Ninth. He also used quarter tones and chance operations in this particular period. Ginastera saw composition as an abstract manifestation of architecture that happened to unfold through time. He saw his music as possessing 3 aspects: lyrical melody, driving rhythm, and a sense of expressionism that he called almost magic. Though prolific, and many of his works are on large scales, his actual body of work is smaller than you might imagine. It tops out at 55 pieces. His perfectionism meant that several early works were withdrawn altogether. And when I say his pieces are large in scope, they are very large in scope. He had 3 operas and an incomplete 4th, as well as other large-scale pieces. Probably most notably, a dramatic piece for soprano and 53 percussion instruments. His unique blend of the past and the present caught the attention of Keith Emerson of Emerson, Lake and Palmer fame. And in fact, that group recorded a rendition of the finale to his first piano concerto. Ginastera was great friends with Aaron Copland. They met each other in the 1940s, and they continued their friendship thereafter. In fact, Ginastera's interest in scoring films came via Copland. He saw Copland as a leading example of the modernist composers, such as Bartók and Kodály in Hungary, that took folk music and spiked it with a 20th century language. Copland returned the admiration, seeing a sense of refinement and professionalism in Argentine music that he credited, at least in part, to Ginastera. Ginastera passed away in 1983, at the age of 67, and his wife said that his death was all the more sad because he said that he had so much music left that he wanted to write. But fortunately for all of us, he left us with quite a bit, as it is.